Good afternoon, everyone. Okay, we're going to start by playing the game, put a finger down. So one hand up. So put a finger down if you're actively searching for a higher paying job. Okay? Put a finger up for down if you're in the middle of a career change. Put a finger down if you don't see yourself working in the same industry in the next 5 years. Put a finger down if you change your career after COVID. Okay, so how many people still have three fingers up? Just wave. Very few people. Research has shown that the average individual today will change their career 12 times over the course of their career. The average person would change their job 12 times over the course of their career. Changing careers is becoming more commonplace than we actually think. Many of us here know at least one person who has transitioned from one industry to another. You start out as a doctor, a nurse, and then you transit to finance. You start out as a banker, transit to tech product management. With these trends, I'm a bit of an outlier. I've worked in the same industry for about 2 decades now. Wondering why I've been in the same industry that long? Are you wondering? Walk with me. I started out as a research analyst within the real estate team of an investment bank. And essentially, I was working as a project manager for a property development company. Then I transitioned to financing construction projects within a mortgage bank. After that, I went to school, came back, and I worked in an asset management company, essentially another investment bank. And in that case, I was funding real estate projects. So I created a fund, and out of that fund, I was funding real estate projects. Next, I started my own company. And in that company, we were creating advisory services for real estate transactions, valuation, and research services. Honestly, it might have been easier for me to have done something else, maybe sell clothes or bags or things like that. But I was able to start that company offering advisory services because of one thing. Over that course of about 10 years prior to then, I had developed mastery. I had the advantage of having researched the real estate market by working in 3 different organizations that did 3 different things within the same value chain. So breaking it down further, that advantage looked like 3 things. 1, I had a multi-dimensional perspective because I had worked within the same ecosystem but different jobs. 2, for where I stood, I could identify problems in that industry that needed to be solved. Problems that people will pay a pretty penny for. And I'd also developed the skills that needed to get me going within the company that I started in a niche market. Ladies and gentlemen, mastery or expertise is not what you just write or develop by writing on your LinkedIn bio. You get mastery by years of product insight, actual work experience, and hours of skills developed. These 3 factors built for me a foundation of mastery that I could build a company on. Now, a question I have for you is this. If I had bounced about different industries for that 10 to 12 years prior to starting my own company, will I have been able to offer advisory services? As you pursue better pay and better working conditions, and as we say, mental health balance, work-life balance, make sure that you are building mastery along the way. Now, I'm going to pause for a second, especially for folks that raised their hands earlier and had just about a finger left or 2 fingers. Is your career turning out to be an interconnected line or a series of fragmented lines with no clear direction? I'll take that again. Is your career turning out to be a series of fragmented lines interconnected lines with clear direction. While it is okay not to have everything figured out yet, especially for earlier career folks in the room, this question can be a guiding light for you in making career decisions, as it has proven in mine. I'd like you to think of your career or your business like a series of interconnected lines, while you may only be able to connect the lines backwards in moving across the rows. You must stay committed to learning all you can, because each new job description prepares you for the next. I titled this talk, Lessons in a Single Value Chain, for a clear reason. And so I'm going to share some lessons with you. The first lesson is working in the same ecosystem has enabled me to build mastery. Yes, I've mentioned that before. Both breadth and depth of skill in African real estate and construction. Quickly moving on to the next lesson. I borrowed this quote from J.F. Kennedy. Ask not what your country can do for you. Ask what you can do for your country. 9 to 5 as entrepreneurs. Let's rephrase that to fit our purpose. Ask not what your organization or customers can do for you. Ask what you can do for your organizations and your customers. And the clear reason is this. What is your core career mission? 10, 20 years from now, if we were to sum it up, the world will ask, what was your contribution? What is it that you were able to give your industry? What value did you give your industry? A couple years after starting my first company in 2013, my team and I were thinking through what is the best strategy for us to market our services. Remember, we were in a niche market offering advisory services. Many people are not willing to pay for our service. Marketing professionals would have told us back then to get on TV, advertise in newspapers and things like that. In 2013, social media wasn't that big then. What is the second lesson? Value. As I wrap up, I'd like to touch on something that I've struggled with, and I'm sure many of us have struggled with, and that is imposter syndrome. Advancement in your business or your career will often bring you to a place that demands more of you. In fact, the higher you go, the higher the imposter syndrome. Because of that new role, that new business, that new promotion, you will feel less adequate to cover it. And while where you are coming from will typically prepare you for what's next, sometimes it's still overwhelming. That overwhelming feeling that you need to learn more. How then do you confront those voices telling you can't get it done? You fail at this. You're not qualified. Everyone else in this room is better than you. And that leads to my third lesson, which is called the humility of learning. Ladies and gentlemen, approach imposter syndrome with the willingness to learn. The job is a new territory. Go take a course about the role. Branching out to start your own business. Speak to other entrepreneurs that have just done so. Whatever it is that new role, there is always something that you can learn. You need to always try to find something that you can learn that can help you set imposter syndrome aside. Rather than shrink in fear, ask questions. Take bold steps with curiosity. Learn what you need to make it work. Put one foot forward in front of the other. Make mistakes. Learn from them. It will not always be convenient to be humble enough to learn, but still try to be humble. It takes time. It takes effort. And a lot of times, it also takes money. But don't Wait till life itself humbles you. Even when it's uncomfortable, invest in your personal growth. Remember, the goal is not to outshine everybody. The goal is not to work in the most trending industry. The goal is to build mastery by consistently contributing value. To look back in a couple of years and the series of title big changes in your organization, in your industry, and the world around you. So while everything I've shared is my own personal opinion and story, I've seen it work very well in the last 20 years for me. There's no hard and fast rule about these things. So instead of telling you to go follow everything that I've said, book by book, step by step, I'll say go and reflect on these three things. 1, what are you building mastery at? And how will your current or next role help you achieve that? 2, what are you doing for your customer, for your organization, for your industry that creates lasting and unforgettable impact? And finally, what are you humbling yourself to learn in this season? Thank you.